Hey guys, I know you can hear me out there. Hey, DeClaude, will you talk?
Yes, check.
Okay,
Hello.
it's working. It's just not playing the intro music for some frickin' reason. So hey guys, thanks for watching the Trinity Force podcast. We're not live, you can see us on here. I'm just trying to figure out why the intro music isn't playing right now, because something screwy is happening. So give me a minute while I figure this out. I know it says we're live. We will be live here shortly, guys. I just need to figure something out.
Welcome to the Trinity Force podcast. Yo, it's that TForce cast beaming straight to your home. Grab a beer so we know Pone ain't drinking alone. Send an email, a quick tweet, just pick up the phone. Leave a message, hit the beep if you're a creep, watch your tone. Discuss the meta game, patch notes, whatever helps your stats most. Obi-Pone Kenobi is your last hope to snatch gold. So grab your headphones and join in the fun. We'll try enforcing some jokes and some cringeworthy puns. Yo, we can make it together, people. Trinity Force podcast. These boys are second to none. Now that's the end of the intro. It's time we begun.
Hey guys, welcome to Trinity Force podcast. My name is Adaponophobia Coxwell. You were looking at OBS, and now you're looking at my beautiful mug, as well as DeClaude and Punchinello. Hey guys.
Howdy.
Guys, thank you so much for listening to the Trinity Force podcast and promoting us through Patreon, and for your, just being here and watching us live and listening to us.
For existing.
Just downloading the podcast. Thank you so much. Because if you guys download the podcast, we were able to give away $10 in RP for the best contest.
Best contest idea contest.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
That's
Zachary, cutest player NA, he won. He got $10 in RP. I drew just randomly. I picked like the 20 people that wrote in, which surprised me. Like, normally we get, I don't know, 50, 60 people that write in, and we only had like 20 this time. And I was like, okay. Apparently no one wanted to win $10 on RP.
Nobody's got any ideas.
No one has any good ideas.
No one has any creativity.
So
like,
Zachary
oh man, screw that. Creativity scares me.
That's just the guy who did the whole Mulan like thing at episode 2.
Oh, I'm saying as them. That was their idea for not writing in. I got no problem. I'll make a fool of myself any day.
Well, you do every day on the podcast. So
No.
Zachary writes in, and he says, I have 2 contest ideas to share with you. He goes, player versus Adam, best of 5 format, Aram. Every time you lose a round, you have to chug a bottom shelf beer as punishment. Someone's getting drunk in that one. Number 2, rush to Baron, Summoner's Rift. Choose any champion. The object is to solo Baron in the shortest amount of time. Anything goes, 1 human player per game. Could include bots. Unfortunately, that would take like 20 minutes to get to the point where you can do it, but it would actually be really fun to like set up beforehand and then see what people can do and jump in their games to see it. Just make them wait around. 2B, rush to Baron. Same rules as above, but this time 2 players are in the game. Gives more strategy potential for Baron steals and outplays.
Sounds interesting.
Thanks, guys.
Those are always the fun parts of the games that we watch. So, boil it down to make that the entire point of the game. I like it.
1v1 at Baron.
I like it.
Finally get to pull it off.
And of course, I closed the show doc as I'm about to segue into the next piece here. So thank you so much, Zach. Congratulations on your $10 in RP. If you guys didn't notice, we had $10. We had $100 across the network. So there was 10 of you that won RP across this between Facebook and Twitter and all the other shows. So there's a reason to listen to all the other shows besides them being awesome and giving you lots of information. So guys, thank you so much for helping us get as successful as we are. We're going to continue to give back to you. And another way we're going to give back is that LeShock, from formerly Battle Arena, has now taken over as our TForce RPG Dungeon Master Extraordinaire. This guy is running 7 games over 7 nights. Not just him, though. It's not just him, but he's got DMs. He's putting a whole community together. He's making the TForce Network RPG Network, or TForce RPG Network. We're going to call it TForce RPG Network.
So he's doing 7 simultaneous games over 7 nights.
Yes, but not just him. He's got other DMs that are helping him.
Okay, I was going to say he created his little worlds in 7 games in 7 nights. On the 7th night, does he rest?
He's going to rest on at least the 2nd night because he ain't hosting them all. If you guys
Okay.
want to follow that, so if you guys want to get involved, follow the T-Force Network subreddit at /T-Force Network, or follow us on Twitter, T-Force Network. Follow us on Facebook, T-Force Podcast. We will post the signups there, and you'll always be able to get in. We are also pushing really hard to get the new website out here before the World Finals, so we can at least get some basic stuff going in there. There'll be a sign up available on TrinityForceNetwork.com as well here shortly. With that said, if you go follow YouTube.com/TForce RPG and Twitch.com/TForce RPG, you'll be able to get, when they go live, you'll be able to get your VODs after the game, because we're removing them from the T-Force Podcast RPG just because we figured that people would want to probably go to T-Force Podcast for League, and then you can go to your separate communities for what you want to watch.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So we're just trying to separate communities up a little bit. That's not to say you can't be part of more than one community. We want you to, but please support everything and play D&D. Excuse me. Everybody who played in it, I wish Cheer was here this week. He had a lot of fun. I guess apparently I was an NPC in it, and I got drunk and became giant and enraged, and I threw an owlbear at people and they ran away. So
I think they're dealing with my NPC now.
You're the one who came up with the elaborate NPC, right?
Yep, I sure did. Tune in to catch up on it. But he's an orc.
Half orc.
Full orc. 20 charisma.
And he's rich,
I used to play
believe.
D&D a long time ago. I haven't played in a long time, so I don't know how viable all this stuff is, but I gave some work for a shot.
It's as viable as Sated Devourer Vi. Because that
God. That
You
is
have to explain
viable.
that one to me.
Well, okay. I'm going to give you guys the idea, because right now the episode is named Patch 5.13 Continued, but I'm going to leave it up to you. I know it's a 1-1 vote, and I'll be the last vote. Do we want to answer listener questions and wait for all 5 people to be here Wednesday to finish Patch 5.13, or do we want to just plow through it and then follow up again on Wednesday?
Well, the hype around 5.13 is probably going to be faded by Wednesday, so we should probably plow through it.
I mean,
That's what I'm thinking.
It's Wednesday. I don't know. I think people are going to love it out the way, but hey.
Nope,
Oh,
let's
yeah.
do it.
Let's do
Patch.
it. Let's
do it.
Hey, I got outvoted 2-1. We're good.
Yep.
Like I said, I'm the third vote, and I'll pick one. And I got outvoted, so that's what it is. We talked about it previously. We talked about slow stacking. That has been removed. You can no longer stack slows. Only the strongest slow applies. I'm gonna throw that out there. You guys probably played all weekend like I did. Did you ever notice this being super slowed?
Super slowed.
Like from previously, have you ever noticed being super slowed previously compared to being slowed now?
No.
Like, did
But
you
I
notice
haven't
the
played
difference
too
is what
much.
I'm asking?
I haven't noticed the difference between it, but I haven't played much, so.
I noticed
I've
the
been
difference,
noticing getting slowed more with Riley's.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Right, I noticed Ryla's a lot, but not slow stacking, or the absence of slow stacking.
Yeah, I could still rant about this. The whole
And since there's
slow
more,
stacking
I mean,
stuff.
since there's so many slow sources, I don't really think the absence of this is gonna be that noticeable.
Unless you're like a pro level player, but even then, I can't imagine that many pro level teams are really stacking slows like purposely. To me, it seemed like they were stacking shields or stacking damage as quickly as they possibly could on a single target, or
Sure.
chaining CC properly.
Have you played Gnar? Frozen Mallet Gnar? I noticed like it was a little boomerang. If any, it's a stacking slow isn't there anymore. That's probably most noticeable as the most popular meta Frozen Mallet champ.
Frozen Mallet doesn't stack.
No, the
but-
slows don't. It would just take the biggest
The
slow.
slow from the
Are you talking about
boomerang
the
and
slow
Frozen
from the
Mallet.
Boomerang and Frozen Mallet, like if you see with the Q and then.
It was combining it before,
Oh yeah.
so but now it's not. So I can see that one. Maybe you notice if you're a Gnar player.
Big of a deal though, because
Yeah,
you're
I think
still
Gnar's still
getting
gonna keep
Right.
up with you with the movement speed boost.
right.
Yeah, he's still on you regardless.
Then the Q slow before was just the initial slow to catch up to somebody to continue to slow them with the Frozen Mallet, then get the speed boost off of 3 auto attacks and W and keep up on them.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's move into champions, because we didn't talk about those last week. Then we'll get to Sated Devourer at the end of the podcast. More or less, that's how we warmed up a little bit. That's how I like to look at this. So Tom Kench is out in this patch. We are not going to talk about him as we have previously discussed him. We will probably talk about him on episode 279, 277. 9. That's like 3 podcasts from now. Give him.
He still needs more time to simmer.
Yeah. We kind of gave you our thoughts. Whether our thoughts are living up to it, we're going to leave it out there. You guys can go back a couple episodes and listen to that. Ekko has been changed. Every second matters. Ekko's attack frames have slightly been improved, or improved slightly, and recommended items have been updated.
Now you can laugh at the recommended items, but Who was it that said? Was it Ghost Caller that said when they improve somebody's recommended items, their win rate actually improves?
Well, it makes sense.
I remember when Ekko first
Overall
came out,
win
I
rate.
said you should build like all this straight damage, and then I realized as I continue to play him that I want to build CDR instead of damage and try to get to my 40 or 25 to 40% cap as quickly as possible, so that I'm spamming more spells and doing more damage. So if you would have changed if the recommended items would have been CDR and I played it that way first, I probably would have done better than just playing how the way Riot wanted me to play initially.
What do they recommend now?
I haven't looked.
No, neither have I.
I thought you were basing off that. Okay.
I don't really play Ekko. I mean, I can, but I don't play him. So, Jayce, Mercury Cannon / Hammer has a change. It fixed the bug that gave Jayce's R bonus at 5, 10, 15, 6, 11, 16. Or 2, 6, 11, 16. It was giving it at 5, 11. Or 5, 10, 15.
Never noticed.
Yep. Neither have I.
I think you would have had to be like a Jayce master to understand
Oh,
that
yeah,
one.
to pick that out.
Yeah, to be like,
wait a second. What are these bonuses I'm getting on level early?
I haven't actually, honestly, with all the changes to Jayce, I haven't even seen him.
Yeah, I've only seen him
That's right,
twice since his big changes last patch.
He
and
did
one was
have
an
a pretty,
ADC, so
yeah, he had a pretty decent change last patch, so it made me want to play him. I expected to see him a lot more. I actually predicted it. We're going to see a lot more Jayce, and nope, I was wrong.
Nothing.
I kind of mean to try him in the mid lane, but I hardly ever get to play mid lane since it's such a popular role. So
because you get forced to play AD carry all the time.
Oh, I get forced. Yeah. I don't just instant lock it every time, right?
Yeah, sure, buddy. That's right. I'm actually going right here because I was trying to pull up statistics because we're going to talk about Kalista here as well. She has since the patch, she has a 46.58% win rate. Her win rate has gone down a bit. I think she's the lowest winning rate champion of all. No, Twitch is lower, so she's not the lowest winning rate ADC right now. But she is lower than she was previously. So I did the math on this. Let's first talk about it, then I'll try to pull up the math because at the same time it's on an account that I don't have access to yet.
Well, I can read the changes if you want while you look that up.
Yeah, please.
Okay, so the general changes to Kalista, they changed her basic attack ratio from 1.0 total attack to 0.9 total attack. That means every time she attacks, including her base AD and AD from items, it does 0.9 of her total attack damage on auto attacks. So that's something completely new that they're trying for this patch. Everybody else has got a 1-to-1 attack damage ratio based on her AD. Kalista's not. It's not 0.9. Base attack damage was increased from 53.5 to 57, and base attack damage growth stat was increased from 3.25 to 3.5, and both of those to try to accommodate for the
make up for that
lower AD ratio on your auto attacks now.
10% loss.
Yeah,
overall.
It's a 10% net loss. I ran the math, but you also gain. Okay, so I did the math on this. At level 18, and I'm going to braid this out, but then I'm going to go back and talk about Kalista as a champion. So at level 18, post 5.3 autos, or 5.13 autos with a 0.9 modifier, her attacks do 104.85. That's with no runes and masteries, right? Pre 5.13 was 108.75. So she's only losing 4 damage with no runes masteries.
At 18.
Base damage.
Base damage at 18. She's only losing 4.
Okay.
But it's when you start adding tons of AD onto her kit when she starts losing the damage.
You feel the hit.
Because I have post 5.13 autos. Again, base, no runes, no masteries, because I just assumed base for, just for funsies, just to try to get math through. With Bloodthirster, which is her first rushed giant damage item, at 18, she does 166.365 damage with every auto. But pre 5.113, she was doing 188.75. So she lost nearly 20 or just over 20 damage. It's 22
Did you do a Infinity Edge with that build as well?
I didn't do it. I just did it just to get a base idea of how much she was losing.
But you can basically just kind of double that 80 loss from the Bloodthirster to figure out how much you're losing from the Infinity Edge as well.
Pretty much, yeah. You realize you're going to be losing quite a bit. But if you roll this back a little bit and look at it where Kalista comes from lane dominance and mid-game power spikes to your win condition, which Horst, again, if you've ever listened to Horst talk about it on the forwards, or he's talked about it on Battle Arena, he's also talked about it on Twitter. I like this term. It's called win conditions. What's your win condition is Kalista. It's level 11. Pretty much is your win condition. You win laning phase, you snowball into mid-game, you win by level 12 to 14, right? At level 11, you would do 82 damage with basic auto attacks. You do 146 with Bloodthirster. You used to do 86 and then 166, so you're losing 10. You're losing what? That's still 20 damage, right? So if you look, that's with Bloodthirster though. So previously, if you don't have it, you don't lose as much bigger gaps to damage. So that your win conditions with Kalista still exist. You just have to. Now it's more about outplaying the opponent in lane rather than having so much damage that you automatically outplay the opponent because you're jumping around so much. That's again, it is a nerf overall, and it makes sense that her win percentage is dropping. But I think it now at this point it separates the really good Kalistas from the good Kalistas, which is like this big, like a 1% margin, that it probably doesn't matter across the the board of players.
Right. I mean, she's taking longer to kill somebody, so she has to dodge for longer. She has to stay alive for longer. That's basically how I see it.
She's still annoying at what she still does what she does. That's annoying and makes people ban her, and that's hard to play against her when she's played expertly. I think it's interesting that Riot is hitting just the numbers instead of what she does, unlike what they would traditionally do.
They have hit.
They've tried
a
little
bit.
I think if she had that, she used to be able to jump back further on auto attacks, like literally jump back further.
You mean from the last patch?
I think if they would have kept that here and then changed the numbers, she would be in a better spot than just changing the numbers and removing that. But in this patch, we didn't talk about either that her Q, she can no longer throw a Q mid-dash. I think that hurts her just as much, if not more, than the damage reductions, because being able to get another spear into somebody while you're dashing or transfer spears is pretty big.
It's weird. I kind of thought of it as a buff almost. Yeah, you lose that responsiveness where you can, throw a Q mid-dash, but you can also throw a Q to reproc your passive. So if you throw it mid-dash, you can't use your passive again. So this kind of forces you to
easier to play,
attack, passive, Q, and then passive again, as opposed to losing that passive if you did it mid-jump.
It feels more fluid. Have you messed with it?
I have not messed with it. I'm not a huge fan of Kalista.
Did you guys watch the patch rundown? Where they mentioned that Kalista can ult somebody and teleport, and she'll take her support with her.
I saw that.
Yeah, I heard about that.
I didn't know about that.
And I wish somebody would have tried that in the past, because I did not know about that either.
That is pretty cool.
But why is Kalista taking teleport unless she's like top lane, I guess?
Right.
Well, yeah. To do that only.
I mean, Riot acknowledges that this is a pretty drastic change and something they haven't done before, so... they're monitoring it, and they might roll it back if necessary. And they also bring up the fact that they don't think this is going to hurt her as much as it might other auto attack focused champions, because she's so attack speed focused on her items, which I see. But when I compare her to other attack speed champions like Vayne, and Vayne's kind of a bad example just because of how much of a late game hyperscaler she is. But most attack speed focused AD carries have something that augment their auto attacks, and Kalista doesn't really have that. She's got a stacking nuke on Rend, but that's about it. So I feel like this hurts a lot because the purpose of Rend is to last hit somebody with it. In order to cast the Rend, you need 1 stacks, and 2, you need the target to be low enough. Well, if it takes you longer to get their health low enough because your auto attacks aren't doing as much, then it's going to take you longer before you can hit Rend. And heaven forbid your Rend doesn't kill the target. All right, well then there goes your Rend. So now you're just a jumpy spear throwy bitch.
that doesn't really do damage. And it's true. Like I acknowledge that this makes Kalista weaker, and I also acknowledge that I think a professional level player could play her still as well as she was previously. But that doesn't mean the champion is in a good spot because of those reasons. Like you need to make the champion accessible to most everybody. But at the same time, I want everyone else also to look at this in another light, and that's LeBlanc. Even when she was at the most popular and she did the most damage in the LCS, her win rate was shit tier. Like, it was still like 47%, even though she was super popular and being banned. So just kind of like put that in the same light. Champions, just because they have a...
Overall?
Yeah,
or
overall,
at a certain level?
Okay. Even when she was
She's hard to play, so...
Right. Kalista's also really hard to play. So, like, I expect her win rate to be sub 50% all the time. And at 57 or 47% overall really isn't that bad for a champion that's that hard to play.
And I do think she still has a role, especially in competitive play, because you still have 2.5 smites, because a Ren counts at like 1.5 smites on your Baron and Dragon, and you still have that all-in potential. You can still ball in the lane with her ultimate. So she definitely still has to play. She's not a solo carry, right? I mean, you need somebody else on your team to do damage with her.
Right.
There's no protected Kalista is a nightmare, though, especially if you're a skill shot champion. It's hard as hell to predict if you play her well, where she's going to hop. You have to time it so, you can time it, but, it's tough. It causes a lot of extra forethought with her.
I definitely agree with Punch here when it comes down to will probably still see competitive play. She might fall off for a little while.
Do you have the
we're
percentage
also at the end
at the higher ranks?
I didn't look it up. I just pulled up just overall.
Okay.
There's something to keep in mind when we do make these predictions, just for you guys too. We are almost at we're 2 weeks out from the end of the season, and there's Worlds. So talking about competitive play and stuff, a lot of these changes that come in right now, they could probably really hurt Worlds. I think we'll see one more patch before Worlds hits. I would assume. 2, probably 2.
I'm thinking 2 or 3.
Well, I don't remember what they did last year. See, this is my question. I don't remember because I think they played Worlds in 2 patches behind from what Live was.
Yeah, you're right. I forgot about that. Yes, so maybe around 2.
Yeah. Sorry,
guys. You think this will make it? This will make it then.
Do I think what will make it?
To this patch to competitive play.
Yeah, I totally expect this patch to. I mean, they're going to be playing on it next week.
Oh, okay.
And I do expect even pro players to be scared off of Kalista because of this change gets so big. But I think if it sticks, then I wouldn't be surprised if she comes back. Or if she gets buffed again, obviously.
It says in bold in their context here, this is something we'll be monitoring closely and are comfortable pulling back on if we need to. So they're just throwing it out there to see what happens.
I don't think they're going to pull it unless her win rate drops to 45. Or drops just dramatically because it has dropped. Crazy Phil brought this up in chat. It has dropped 4% overall. She has dropped 4% win rate since this. So that's a pretty big drop in win rate. But at the same time, it kind of goes back to it makes her harder to play. Should champions that are hard to play have high win rates? That's a conversation for another time. Let's move on because we have a lot of changes to talk about. Kayle has had a monstrous change in this patch. I don't know what Riot's thinking with this change, to be honest with you, because it just it turned her into a goddamn
Ditto
powerhouse.
That was Singed.
Yeah, oh yeah, we need to talk about Singe too. So, new Righteous Fury. Passively, Kayle's basic attacks now deal 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, plus 0.15 ability power magic damage on hit. Like that.
In addition to everything else.
Yeah.
When she activates it.
And it was, and the ratio. Yeah, the ratio, or damage on hit. And the ratio has been increased to 0.3 from 0.25.
When I first read this, I thought it was only when she didn't have her E active that they would deal that.
Why?
But then when she activated it,
did giving Kayle more power on her E, especially with Sated Devourer in the same patch.
That's what I was going to say. She kind of got double buffed because of Sated Devourer, so that makes her a monster.
And Nashers.
Yeah, and Nashers. Did we discuss Nashers?
We talked about Nashers is the item that Kayle buys.
No. Oh yeah. And that's why.
Yep. Right now, Kayle is a monster out of the jungle. Nashor's Blade of the Ruin King CDR boots. You don't even need Nashor's at that point, but you might as well. I mean, you're 40% CDR,
Right. Yeah.
Horse Doctor recommends Witsend second after Devourer if there's 2 AP.
I think
sources of AP on the enemy team.
Power, you might as well build Nashor's.
Yeah, I'm not a Kayle jungle main. I do like Kayle, but I haven't played her in the jungle. And I do know that Nashor's is still really good on her, and he acknowledged that you're still getting Nashor's even if you get a Witsend second. So, buffed Nashor's, buffed Righteous Glory, and Sated Devourer. Kayle is very scary.
Give Kayle more damage on her auto attacks, which she didn't already need, plus she's doing AoE. Clear the jungle, she's back in there and clearing the jungle really quickly. Especially if you give her Sated Devourer and she's got that extra attack speed. She's just a monster right now. The problem with Kayle is you do need to be really good with Kayle to be able to play her well. And it's hard to play her well. It's hard to play around her ultimate and the cooldown in between E's coming up. So
you got to put yourself in harm's way with her. So,
but yeah, she's a monster. I think you guys should be out there playing her just like you should be playing Vladimir after the WOTA changes. You should also be playing Soraka, by the way. Another big one.
Because the Spirit Visage changes?
Because the Spirit Visage changes. Kennen had some bug fixes where they just fixed a bug in the tooltips. And they fixed a bug where Electrical Surge sometimes wouldn't apply Market Storm to enemies with Slicing Maelstrom. I will say, if you guys aren't playing Kennen, Punch was the one that brought this up before because he reminded me of how much I loved Kennen. You need to be playing Kennen if you're not playing Kennen.
Yeah, I've been playing in the top lane for a while now. I've had a lot of success with them. I don't even really like the champion, but I keep playing him because I keep winning with them. So, I can't argue with that.
Nautilus changes. Riptide damage on first wave has been decreased. Was 6100, 140, 182, 20. Now 69.5, 130, 165, 200. Max damage 90, 150, 210, 270, 330. Now to 90, 142, now 185, 247 with 300. Essentially, they just dropped the damage all across the bonnet. All this means, honestly, is your max W rather than E. And most.
Are you sure?
Yes, you're maxing W, especially at the top lane if you're trading. You're maxing W. If you're jungling, you're maxing W because it goes with Cinder Hulk and gives you more life. It also makes you tankier in the middle of a team fight. Like if they start to target you. I was for a while there maxing E because of the E buffs. But
the really low cooldown it has.
Right, but then I realized how much better W was because it allowed you to sustain more. You weren't relying on blues. You just sustained more in the jungle because you had such a giant shield. No, it's not sustained. You just lived longer.
I actually kind of think of this as more of a top lane Nautilus change, just because E was so effective at harassing and trading in the top lane. Just because, again, the really low cooldown, every time they come in for a creep kill, you E, and then you just pop W, and then all of them away, and you can get a second E off as they're running away because the cooldown is so low. Very good at trading. The problem with that is you push the lane.
Push the lane really hard.
You still push the lane with W because it does AoE damage when popped, but I like maxing W as top Nautilus.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, W is still really good to max. I can see that.
And I'm glad you mentioned the trading because I like the little pun wordage they use. We don't want to ship Nautilus back to the deep end, but trimming back some of his raw ability to win trades by himself should keep him from feeling too OP. Possibly. So enjoy.
Yeah, I always think he was kind of undervalued with his early dueling potential. You never really think of Nautilus as an early dueler, but he puts out a lot of damage early.
Yeah, then he pops that W, and you're like, oh, I'm not doing any damage anymore.
Now you're stuck, bitch. Yeah, anchor.
I play, obviously, I always talk about how I play Rumble in the top lane, and I've been seeing a lot more Nautilus. Nautilus is really annoying to play into as Rumble because you have to outplay the Nautilus, or the Nautilus has to outplay you. And the Nautilus outplays you based on how he's using his W. And you're out as Rumble, you're out playing the Nautilus based on how you have your heat managed and your ultimate when he goes in. Like it's really difficult and a lot of if and buts and thises, and like I could tell you all in my head, but it's not worth the time to sit here. All I'm saying is Nautilus in the top lane is really fucking annoying to play into Rumble, and I'm sick of you all playing it, so will you please stop?
Have you tried Kennen?
Yeah, it's still really annoying because he eventually becomes so tanky with his W, you can't push him out of lane, and he wins lane from like level 6 to 11 roughly, and Kennen wins lane 1 to 6.
Yep, I can see all of that.
Yeah, Rek'sai change W unburrow knockup radius is 160 from 200, but when she is burrowed, she gains 75 range, so she just has a little bit, so she can still unburrow and knock people up. I remember, no, it might be 25 range. Sorry, I said 75, maybe 25. I know you can still unburrow and knock people up from the same range if you were burrowed. So they made this change, really, overall.
Really?
Yeah, you can still knock people up by pressing W and hitting them because you gain range when you gain some kind of range when you were burrowed. I don't have the notes in front of me, and I should have done that as I was talking.
Yeah, you confused me.
I know. I've noticed Rek'Sai is missing this
when you're in your W.
But that's what this is
right.
This is the unburrow on your W, which has been lowered from
unburrowing. Was 200.
Now it's 160. You have 75 attack range. That's what it is. You have 75 attack range, so you can still auto attack and knock people up. That's what you won't.
Okay.
Yeah, when you're burrowed, you have 75 attack range, so you can still right click people and knock them up because you have that because your attack would reach out and pop them up.
Really?
But
I don't think that's intended, is it?
No, it's intended. Right, even
is that useful though? Since this is the radius. Well, still, I mean, the radius would be 80.
It's how small it is, but you can still knock people up by auto attacking them. It's essentially.
Oh wait, no, God, I'm an idiot. Okay, yeah, so it's 160.
Yeah.
160 radius.
Yeah.
So
people were bitching because they were like, "Oh, the radius is smaller. You can't auto attack them." No, you can still auto attack, pop people up.
So it's just for multiple targets where it nerfs him. Her.
Don't say him. People will jump down your face.
Oh yeah.
Sorry.
Down your
don't make the mistake.
Hole.
Him.
That was a good try.
Shyvanna changed. Damage per second has been decreased from her W burnout 20, 30, was 20, 35, 50, 65, 80, 20, 33, 45, 58. But I hate when they do that to me. I'm like, I get in a rhythm. And then they're like, odd number.
They're doing this because of City Devourer.
Yeah, she's pretty sick with City Devourer right now, honestly.
Yeah, she's just pretty sick. So this is to help ease that buff just by having that item.
Singed! Big changes on Singed. Probably another champion we can talk about forever. Base magic resist has been increased to 32.1. Arguably the biggest change for him, magic resist growth stat is now 1.25 per level.
He has one.
Right.
Hooray! It's like what they gave to Shen, who also didn't have a magic growth stat, and now he's being played all the time again.
Anybody? Yeah, because
he's so durable.
Singe's largest counters were AP champions because he has an armor growth stat, so melee not a big deal. He can take all the hits he wants. Now that he has a magic resist growth stat plus runes and masteries, he's able to go toe to toe with a lot of the AP champions who are weaker early. He can just push the wave against them. And Fling additionally got a root duration increase from 1 second at all ranks up to 2 seconds at max rank, and he now laughs when he flings an enemy.
Oh, so that root duration is when they fling him into the goo.
Right.
Correct. Yeah. Which I haven't really seen people doing when they play Singe.
Right. Really usually lead with
it still exists.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not looking forward to playing against Singe. I already played against him once forever, and it caused me to tweet out in anguish how much I hate that guy.
I saw him once, but I wasn't paying attention. Does he laugh every time he flings, or only when he lands him in the goo?
Oh,
every time
he flings. It's great.
That's kind of OP.
Oh, definitely. It gets in your mind. That's why I lost the lane, because he was laughing so much. Like, God, stop laughing at me, Singed.
I hate you.
How do you even laugh with that bandage over your mouth?
What? It's just muffled.
It wasn't even muffled.
Oh,
clear as day.
It's because he pulls it down after he flings you, and he laughs.
Oh, okay.
Stupid. Stupid, bald,
stupid
bandaged guy.
Skarner change.
Badass.
Don't really care. There's a big Syndra changes with how her E interacts. There's a bunch of bugs. Essentially makes it so she stuns more reliably.
Well, I don't think there were bugs, but they realized it took a lot of power away when she was against a Yasuo or a Braum, where they would just disappear.
That's the one where the balls just disappear if they're flung into Braum or Yasuo.
Right, and they fixed just latent bugs that they had with it,
Right
the
here,
knockback and stun.
Run playthings fixed a bolded word, lot of bugs around scatter the weak's knockback and stun, sometimes not applying to units hit.
Yeah,
I have noticed that. It was one of those things where I think I played her a lot in early season 4, and said how much I was doing well with her, and I noticed it. Like, you would throw a ball at them and it looked like it would hit, but it didn't actually hit, and you get that whole little song and dance.
This one change: the units stunned by dark spheres are no longer knocked back. That's big because I would sometimes knock someone out of range, and I'd have to float closer to hit my ult. And it was kind of annoying. But also, I liked it when I was retreating, and I would throw one behind me and knock them back a little bit. So there's a little give and take there with how you use Scatter the Weak.
These bug fixes, I think it's going to take a little bit of time. I do fully expect to see Syndra coming back in the mid lane with the AP atomization changes, just like I expect Lissandra to come back.
I mean, she is good against Victor, who sees a lot of playing in mid lane, so I was surprised to not see her picked against him.
Are we going to see her more in the pro scene, you think? With this current meta?
I don't think so. I think that's just the other mids
are
too powerful.
Split.
More or less.
Season.
It's kind of like Lissandra. I don't expect Lissandra to get picked by the professionals. I do fully expect Lissandra to get picked in solo queue. And I picked her the other day and just dominated the lane and dominated the game with her just because of roaming
top?
and whatnot.
Or mid?
Mid.
Nice, and then roamed everywhere.
Yeah, just play around her passive. I know it's like 12-second cooldown, but you can play around it and push people out of lane pretty easily. Or at least CS against them. Yeah. I think Lissandra with these item changes does well, and I think Syndra does as well too. Thresh had a change that is fixed a bug where souls would appear to fly to Thresh from extreme distances. And Scuttle Crab now spawns a soul.
Oh, he has a soul. Now I feel even worse about killing that poor defenseless little runaway. Defenseless, I say, and he always leads me into the jaws of the enemy team as I'm trying to kill him on Braum. Solo. When I should be with my team.
Yeah, just lots of bug fixes this patch. Vagar, Primordial Burst, which is his R.
There's one other change to Thresh.
What?
Which I do think is significant.
Have you ever seen that?
No, I've never, ever seen it.
Well, I think of it. So this is saying that if it expires while he's mid-flight, it'll stay there. Correct? It's not going to despawn anymore.
Right. Like it holds its duration a little bit longer. Interesting.
Okay, just wanted to point that out. I do think that's worthwhile to know.
Yeah, it's worthwhile to know. You're right. Yeah. Vagar change, Primordial Burst, missile size now scales with Vagar's ability power. No inherent.
Does that affect the hitbox?
No inherent change. No, because it's point and click.
Right.
R is point and click, so yeah, it's just.
But it looks scary now.
I love it. That punch's camera
it looks scary.
has been frozen, and he's got like the biggest smirk on his face right now. It's fucking fantastic.
It's a good spot to
awesome.
freeze.
Yeah, you really couldn't have frozen in a better spot.
All right. Well, I'll try and do that again.
It's still frozen.
Well done, sir.
Do you want me to fix that?
Yeah, I just turn it off and turn it back on again.
Xin Zhao, another one who was adjusted slightly because of Sated Devourer. Xin Zhao? What was the correct way to say his name? Didn't one of our fans tell us?
It was
Xin Zhao?
Xin Zhao?
Probably Xin Zhao, but still.
Yeah, I think it was Xin Zhao.
No,
X
but
to the
remember
Z.
the guy came back and he said he was wrong.
All right, X to the Z, oh my goodness gracious. His battle cry is no longer as audacious. It was 0.7 ability power, now it's 0.5 ability power. So yeah, they're really dipping their toe in the water with with him until they see what he does with Sated Devourer. And I saw what he did.
PvE, it's already been reverted, so.
And he hurts.
What did you say was already reverted?
The W change has already been reverted.
Oh, okay.
On the
Really?
Mm-hmm. It's not that big of a change. Like it doesn't.
Quietly?
Like, who was playing?
I know. I was
EP
going to say, what is
before besides?
Yeah, that's I was wondering.
Why would you mess with his ratio?
I don't know.
Big change to Zilean though. Rewind can no longer be cast when both Zilean Qs and E are off a cooldown. Big change. So you can't fuck up and press W.
Oh, good. For all those Zilean players I see out there.
Wait until the next patch hits where you could actually hit Qs when they change.
And he's another champion I hate. I shouldn't have said that. Please don't play Zilean.
Well, too late now.
Stay away from him.
Everybody,
if him and Syndra in every game, I quit.
Everybody just logged into League of Legends right now.
Because first you finally get Singed low enough to kill him, and then Zilean's there, pop him right back up. And he's back to running circles around you. God.
Man, someone's mad.
Hate those champions.
Hey,
can't kill you in the Zilean,
this
baby.
Next change that I'm going to read in the patch notes is probably the best change ever. Because do you guys remember let's take a moment to travel in the Wayback Machine, okay? Where we talk about the very first legendary skin that was ever released in League of Legends. What was it? Pulsefire Ezreal. Remember that?
Yep.
It changes based on his ult level.
I know. It was fantastic. And then what happened? It fucking sucked. Like the visuals were cool, but Q never felt responsive, and his auto attack sucked giant monkey dick. And what do? Literally 2 seasons later, tweaked Pulsefire's Ezreal basic attack animation and basic attack visual effects to feel more responsive. Thanks, Riot. Tweaked Mystic Shock cast animation to feel more responsive. Thanks, Riot. I spent $20 fucking on your skin, and it took you 2 goddamn seasons to fix it. Ghost Crawlers.
Better late than never.
No, I'm kidding. I know it's not him, but he's a scapegoat.
But he gets blamed for everything.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, scapegoat, right?
Right.
No, better late
He's used
than
to
never.
it.
Fuck
It was
this.
still badass.
I'm mad. I am upset because I had to use Nottingham Ezreal for 2 goddamn seasons, even after I bought that fucking skin.
Oh, I mean, Nottingham Ezreal is the superior Ezreal.
It really is. Like, actually, I think Frosted Ezreal looks better than Yomo anyway.
That one's pretty good too. You got a lot of good skins, that handsome devil.
Just play a mid with Runeglaive.
Well,
Yeah, you know, I played Pulsefire Ezreal for a long time, and I didn't even realize the difference until people pointed it out. Like, hey, it's not as responsive. Herp derp. I'm like, wait a second. You're right. It's not as responsive.
yeah, you're like Cash, and it's like he puts his arm out, and then he shoots it back, and it goes.
Yeah, there's a little bit of delay there.
People yelling at me about my sound. I can't do anything about my sound, people who watch live. I've literally done everything I can, but okay, I'm going to go on a rant for a second. I can't change my sound for the live podcast because the MP3 gets like 400 times more views than the live show does. And I get it, I'm quiet, but the MP3 gets more. And I have to be quiet for the MP3 or else Lance for yells at me. I need more.
You can't win, can you? Poor Pwn. Everyone feel bad for... What is it? Obi Pwn Kenobi?
That's right.
Okay.
What happened to Devourer? Let's discuss.
God,
We didn't
that
discuss
was a
scary
watermelon
things.
beer, and that did not taste good chugging.
Watermelon beer.
Ew. What
possessed you to buy
the hell
such a
are you
thing?
drinking watermelon beer for?
Girlfriend.
Usually you're making fun of my beer choices.
Dude, if you have not tried 21st Amendment's Hell or High Watermelon, you need to try it because you'll fucking love it. It's delicious.
That's a good name. I might try just on the name.
Hell or High Watermelon. Seriously, it's good. All right, so we all know that Devourer got changed. It's now called Sated Devourer. Hold on.
It's Devourer first, and then it becomes Sated
Somebody else,
Devourer.
'cause that beer.
Yeah. Anyway, general starting on-hit magic damage was increased from 25 to 30 for the Devourer enchant. Large monsters no longer give 1 stack per kill, but 1 stack per takedown, which is a killer assist. That's pretty much the big change. The epic monsters as well is 5 stacks per takedown instead of 1 stack per kill. Champions was 2 stacks per takedown. Now it's 1 stack per takedown. So they tweaked down the champion one a bit, tweaked out the monsters. And they added one for the Rift Scuttler. It's 2 instead of 1. And it's a takedown instead of a kill. So I guess they're encouraging that frustration where you're like, oh, okay, don't you dare last hit that. I need it for my stacks. It doesn't really matter now because it's a takedown. You have this...
Sorry, I just want to point out you get more stacks from jungling now than you do from
Right.
ganking.
Yep.
Unlike Pharaoh Flare, which was the opposite.
Right. Yep. And then Ghost Dog. While stacking your Devourer, you are accompanied by a Ghost Dog who will grow with stacks. And he just follows you around and
I don't even get that. It's so dumb.
does nothing. But hey, they're adding some flavor. Come on. Yeah. I don't mind it.
Cool.
And then we're going to combine it. 30 stacks, Ghost Dog merges with the Wielder, and the Devourer transforms into Sated Devourer. It's got a every other basic attack triggers on hits twice. It's called Phantom Hit, and it goes from purple to yellow. What? I want someone to explain to me. Every other attack triggers on hits twice.
Here's how this works, and I will try to explain this the best way I can.
Use a champion as... Okay.
It is, think of it like Runon's Hurricane, where it adds a second attack every other attack. So you attack once, normal attack. You attack again, it's a normal attack plus a phantom attack. That phantom attack does no damage, just like the bolts on Hurricane do no damage. But on hit, on that phantom attack hitting, it adds the on-hit effect. Does that make sense?
Not on attack effects, which are completely different.
Right.
On hit effects.
Yes. So, in other words, Sheen cannot proc more than once. Because that's a non-attack effect, not a non-hit effect. Master Yi's Double Strike cannot proc Devourer more than once. However, Shyvanna's Q can proc Devourer because it's a double attack. So that's what makes Shyvanna's really
So, for example, your auto attack plus Nashor's magic damage and the Devourer magic damage, and then it'll just do the Nashor's magic damage and the Devourer magic damage. Minus the auto attack on that
correct.
Phantom.
It doesn't add the auto attack to it. It just does the on-hit
Just does
effect.
the on-hit damage. Okay. Interesting.
So every time you're looking for a champion to use Devourer, look for that on hit. If you wonder, does X ability stack twice with Devourer, check to see if it's on hit.
Mm-hmm.
Warwick Ultimate?
No, Warwick Ultimate would be every other, so every other Warwick Ultimate would add the on-hit effect. It will
Well,
not
it hits 5 times.
No, sorry. No, Warwick Ultimate will not proc Sated Devourer at all. Warwick Ultimate will not proc Sated Devourer, just like Master Yi's Double Strike will not proc Sated Devourer, or count toward the double attack. It doesn't count toward the double attack.
I thought it does count towards the passive on Diana and Nocturne.
Well, because it says
Whereas
it's every
Diana-
other basic attack.
Right. I mean, so like Diana's
That's the
that's the
passive
difference, is the
won't
basic
trigger
attack.
twice, but it'll trigger every other attack because the double strike will count towards 2.
It'll stack it faster. Okay.
Right.
Because it's an auto attack. But I thought Warwick's
But
Ultimate
Warwick
counted
will
as
not.
5 auto attacks. It's just
Warwick-
5 hits. Okay.
Warwick was 5 hits, not 5 basic attacks.
Not
Remember,
basic. Okay.
remember, the big thing to keep in mind is these are basic attacks, which are
Right.
doing it.
It's only
so
basic
it
attack.
has to be a basic. So, like I said, Master Yi's Double Strike will not do it because it's a basic attack plus an extra attack. It's
Right.
not 2 basic
Not a
attacks.
non-hit effect.
The most confusing item they've ever created.
It's really not that confusing once you realize the difference
Once you
between
wrap your head
basic
around that, yeah.
attacks and extra attacks, and the wording is what you need to look at it. But when you Warwick Ultimates, there's no basic attacks in Warwick Ultimate. It's just extra hits.
Lifesteal is an on hit, isn't it? But if it's not doing any damage, it's not a percent. It's a percentage of 0, so it doesn't matter. So.
Something to note with anybody who has a 5-stack passive like Kennen, it takes the initial 5 stacks to get to the point where, say, Devourer will double hit it, like Kennen's W. After that, it's every 3rd attack.
Right.
So it takes 5 to get to that point, and then it's every 3rd after that that'll stack it. Does that make sense?
Right.
Yes.
You got to stack it first.
Right. So that's something also to note with Devourer, because if you're thinking, some people were yelling about Vayne being awesome in solo queue, or solo queue jungler, but you have to fucking survive the first 12 minutes somehow and farm and hope your lanes don't lose. So don't fucking try it, please.
Can you explain why Vi is so good with this?
Vi is good at this because of W.
In other words, W doesn't proc twice, but she gets W's off faster.
Correct.
Okay. Now, the problem I had when I first heard of this with Vi is that Vi has no way to stick to a target. So, in my mind, this is an item that helps out people that stick to a target and auto attack a lot. And I don't see Vi. I think more Vi doing damage with her Q and her ultimate and maybe an E, but not a lot of auto attacks.
You're rolling through jungle more quickly, which allows more gank opportunities, which allows you to snowball more quickly because you're doing more damage. Just like Shyvanna. Shyvanna's the same way. You're not getting more you are getting more auto attacks off in a fight, and you are really tanky. The reason you're really good with Shyvanna is because of Q and the way Q interacts with a double attack. But you're also clearing jungle more quickly. You're getting tanky already passively through your R. It's kind of like the same. Remember when I was talking about top Shyvanna for a while, how you passively get tanky through R? Same thing. And then you are tanky, doing tons of damage. You're doing percentage. Is it life? No, magic damage with Q. You're doing magic damage with Q or E when they get the E proc on them. Sorry, I don't know why I kept saying Q. But Shyvanna jungle right now is really fucking nuts with this thing too. And again, it's all solo queue based. It's not. This isn't. You're not going to see this in pro play because it does take 20 minutes for you to say to Devourer to stack, no matter what.
Yeah, I tried it with the Warwick, and I noticed. I didn't notice anything on the ult. Like, is it not working, or am I just doing that bad? But I had a Shackle counter jungle me at level 1, and it wasn't good. So I didn't really get a good. I didn't finish sated in that game, so I didn't get a good test on it.
I'm curious. Out there who right now are yelling at me about Vi not being good with this, please go try it. I promise you, Vi is really good with this. You can theory craft this all day you want, but I promise the fact that you can clear jungle more quickly and the fact that you're going to get off more attacks in the mid game fights makes her. And that she's already tanky based on her passive, so the fact that you can get more auto attacks after you blow somebody up, you get one more auto attack off, that's a difference between Vi winning or losing a fight, potentially. And that makes up for the AD ratios that she's losing off of getting Warrior. So please do try Devourer on Vi and solo, or at least normals. Just try the normals.
I heard from a lot of people it's really good. I just wanted to know why, so I'm glad you clarified.
Yeah. I have a question. Rengar's Q, his next auto attack applies the Q. Does that trigger this? And apply that Q twice?
Is it on hit?
Is it on
the hit? Damage? Well, his next auto attack applies it, so he hits you to make it happen.
It's not an on hit effect. It's just his next auto attack does it.
But it's a basic attack. Triggers on hits. Yeah. Guess it doesn't. It happens on hit, but it's not considered an on hit. I need to try. I just need to get out there and try it. That's what I need to do.
There's a whole giant list out there. Go look. Seriously, just go search Devourer on League of Legends Wiki. There's a fucking giant list of.
See what everyone's been doing since a couple days.
I think something to point out for this for solo laners and not from the jungler point of view is if you see if the enemy jungler getting this item, chances are they're going to be farming for a while to get it sated. So that gives you a good opportunity to be aggressive in lane. And in general, if you start seeing this more and more, and the meta becomes people are buying sated Devourer every game. That opens up more lane-dominant solo laners to play. Because you can dominate your lane without worrying about getting ganked early. So it's something to keep in mind. This isn't just a jungler change. This is also affects the solo lanes.
Yeah, Rengar is not in the list of champions that this affects at all.
Yeah, because he's more about just his burst and not sustained getting on hit effects.
Hit and style work, relentless assault from Jax's W. There's a whole bunch of crazy ones. Umbra Blades will work. Nocturne's passive. We'll do a double strike on it.
Oh, really?
Yes. Shyvanna's Twin Bite, Shen's Key Strike, etc. All those things will do doubles on this, but you're not going to build them on most of those people, so.
But it's tempting.
Let's play with it. I saw Shyvanna and a Xin Zhao so far, and they wrecked.
Oh, yeah, something else I forgot to mention about Vi, that you stack Denting Blows more quickly with it as well. You get 2 stacks of Denting Blows rather than 1.
Oh,
wow.
I should have mentioned that.
That's pretty big.
Okay.
I should have mentioned that.
I thought it was just. I just thought it was you getting it off more often.
Yeah, no, you get the two Denting Blows with it. I really should have mentioned that like 5 minutes
That's
ago.
crazy.
Screaming about it.
That's a little scary.
That's why she's so good.
Has Chi-Chi been messing with this, or has he been because of his injury?
He's got not injury, just other things going on.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm curious to hear his take on it. Because I tweeted him to him like, you got to mess with that Runeglaive Elise, and he just replied, no, nope.
Yeah. No,
about 10 times in a row.
Runeglaive Elise not so great because he still felt like he wasn't doing any damage. Runeglaive did get changed in this patch though. Ability power went from 40 to 50. Spellblade ratio went from 0.75 to 1.0, and it fixed a bug where Runeglaive was applying spell effects. Riley's Crystal Scepter, Liandra's Torment, Luden's Ekko.
Right. That's the big one.
So no, just essentially you got more ability power with it, and you get more basic attack damage, but you can't proc Luden's Ekko anymore. So it kind of nullifies mid Ezreal a little bit.
I think nullify is too strong a word though, because I do think the buffs that they give it are pretty significant.
Yeah,
like the 0.25 base attack damage. I mean, so I think a lot of people saw Riot Jet's little graph about how the damage is distributed for Runeglaive Ezreal. And that Luden's portion was just kind of like a flat amount that carried across all levels depending on how much AP you got and how many spells you used in your rotation.
I hated that chat chart. It was so stupid because it was like, hey, you can do this, and this is you can counter it this way by picking another farm mid laner like Twisted Fate, who can have a global map presence. But if you make it to endgame, you do lots of damage. Thanks, chat. Thanks for your awesome analysis of it.
Well, AP Ezreal is always doing lots of damage. So I don't think that was the point of Runeglaive. But the point I was trying to make is removing that Luden's portion, I don't think is going to kill the build. Because you do get some of that damage back with these buffs.
5.14 will kill the build when it doesn't convert to magic damage anymore, and you're back to doing
Yeah, that's more significant.
They're messing with that on the PvE right now?
Yeah, they're going to remove it.
It's
no longer going to convert attacks to magic, so your Q is no longer magic damage. It's back to physical.
That was the whole point, though.
And the AoE will only work on monsters and not minions. That's what they're playing with in the PvE right now.
Oh yeah. I thought I read that. Yep, that gets rid of the wave clear idea. All right.
I like to think that the magic damage changed back to physical was because of Gangplank more so than Ezreal.
Probably.
Because crit magic damage. Oh, that's ridiculous. Yeah. Come on.
No, people, the countered Ezreal is any poke, comp, or shield to sustain. You're not wrong, but the countered AP Ezreal was just winning in the mid game because it took him 22 fucking minutes to get powerful, so he just played something that pushed him out of lane and roamed harder than he did and snowballed the game out of control, which I've seen. Every AP Ezreal I've seen since this change has lost. Because my mid laner just abuses him with somebody that's more powerful than he is, like Yasuo or Twisted Fate or Victor or anybody that can be more powerful than he can be and hit him with skill shots.
He hasn't had a huge amount of success in LCS either. I think he was floating around 50-50.
Yeah, he was. Yep. Because people figure out how to change it.
Have you guys been messing with Runeglaive at all on anybody? Like
No.
What they intended it for? Are there still better choices? Like Fiddle, for example, doesn't really benefit at all.
Fiddle won't even build a jungle item.
Right. He'll just go straight Zonya's.
He will start amplifying Tome into pot, and then because he doesn't even need the pot when he's out there, he just do ward. Right. You know.
Crazy Phil brings up Runeglaive Diana, which I have seen in solo lane.
Oh yes. We've seen the Runeglaive Diana, and it succeeds.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good.
Sated
but I think Diana in general is really good. I don't think she needs Runeglaive to be played well. I mean, she can be played in 3 different lanes and carry the game. Well, 2 lanes in a jungle.
Righteous Glory was changed. Health 600 to 500, or from 600 to 500. Cooldown was 60 to 90. The biggest thing I've noticed out of this Righteous Glory change isn't the health, is the cooldown being
30 seconds
increased by 30 seconds. That, because I've played Alistar twice now in solo queue since yesterday. I played him today and yesterday. That hurt so much not being able to.
You noticed when it wasn't available. Okay.
So yeah, 30 seconds is just a giant amount.
Yeah, that's huge.
I
totally agree with you.
Yeah, even with all the support changes, like I'm running, 21 support, and even if it's 15 seconds, it's just not being able to gauge that 15 seconds earlier. It doesn't make or break a game. It just hurts. You can't snowball games as quickly as you could before.
Will you still buy it?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I was still rushing it on Maokai because it's such a good item to have. And I don't really... I mean, I mentioned Rod of Ages, but you don't really need it on him.
Right. I mean, Rod of Ages is the first thing I thought of when I saw these changes for Righteous Glory. But keep in mind, Rod of Ages' health has been decreased by even more than the decrease here. Rod of Ages' health has been reduced by 150. This is down by 100. So Tank's probably still going to get Righteous Glory.
Yeah, still... on Scion, I still like it. Regardless, you don't need to have AP.
I don't know how to build it on Scion, just because his ultimate does so well of engaging, but...
It does. I would usually build it more as if we needed it for the team, or if I wanted to bring a carry in there with me.
It's never a bad item to have, just because it makes up for the fact that you can't get Shirelli anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
You're right. We need to talk about Spirit Visage before we make it into the end of the show, and that's Spirit Visage has been changed. The healing bonus was 20% to self-healing. It is now 20% to all healing, which essentially is...
It used to be a long time ago.
Yeah, right. It's a giant buff to Soraka. Like, Soraka is like... I would not be surprised to see Soraka being picked more often, even in the LCS, because of this change.
Imagine this with old Scion with his ult. Cannibalism.
He didn't die, right? Well,
just
he had that for
running
a while.
with Scion, I mean. Next to him, because his ult would heal his allies
he had
around
that
him.
For a while, because Spirit Visage used to work the same way. They just reverted the change, essentially.
Oh, it actually did that? Okay.
Yeah, I've seen some pretty nasty Sorakas. So much so that I've tried to play her more whenever I'm support, just so I can learn the nuances of the Soraka. I mean, it's almost like a Soraka carry, because in prolonged fights, people don't die. So now that Spirit Visage is back to being all healing sources increase,
I should play Soraka.
The healing you take. Scary.
I still have not played new Soraka. Ever.
You mean since she was reworked?
Yeah. Or Tristana. I still haven't played new Tristana since she was reworked either. And I still haven't played Tom Kench, and I'm trying to think of any other champions. I think there's a lot of champions. I just stick to what I know and what I like. Like, I'm turning into what I hate.
Tom's been out forever. I don't know why you haven't played him yet.
Specialize.
Because I haven't had time, because I got a goddamn family now.
You don't need to play Soraka. You just need to buy Spirit Visage.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and you'll notice the change.
Yeah,
but I'm going to ban her. So
that on top of, like, you can build this on Vladimir now if you need with Woda. You don't die, essentially. Yeah. Like, I'm not advocating you building Spirit Visage completely like a rush item, but if it's like you need magic resist because you're getting blown up and you haven't had a chance to build Zonias for whatever goddamn reason, like you're playing against an AP top lane or something, Spirit Visage makes him unkillable.
Jayce wants us to mention that it doesn't increase Soraka's heal on everyone, just people that own Spirit Visage.
Well, yeah.
Which I thought... She just wanted to mention.
It's a good point to make.
I got your back, Jayce.
I can see why people would be confused by that.
It is a really, really good point to make, because I can see how people would be. But I'm sitting here going, do we have to mention that? But it makes sense.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I do think Soraka is really powerful with this item, but one, somebody's got to buy this item, and two, someone's pick Soraka. And I don't see a lot of Soraka. I think eventually it might become, she might see more play when people catch on, but I haven't seen her recently.
That's a good point. I think
there's some more pressing bans.
If you're playing her because of this change now, you got to be like, guys, build Spirit Visage.
Right.
Otherwise, there's
a lot of people out there who play this game who don't read patch notes, guys. So if you have time to, even if there's listeners in the patch or in TeamSpeak, or there's listeners who listen to this, whatever. If you're talking to people playing this game with the community, please remind them of some of these changes that we've discussed. But like, hey, the Trinity Force pot. I was listening to Proper the other day, and they were talking about Spirit Visage. I think you should buy that because I want to play Soraka. I get politically correct about it, rather than you fucked up. Why aren't you building Spirit Visage, you son of a bitch? Yeah, you get it, right?
Make sure you include our website.
Yeah, TrinityForceNetwork.com.
Shit.
Yeah.
I was listening to TForce podcast.
I think that pretty much covers it, doesn't it, guys?
Yeah, look at that.
Somehow, this huge patch we got through.
Yeah, it usually takes us 2 days to go through a patch anyway.
Well, this 2 days to go through smaller patches. I'm surprised we got through this huge patch in 2 days.
Adam did move us along pretty quickly tonight.
I tried, because we spent so much long in Kalista, and I kind of realized if we spent that much long on every single champion, there was no reason to.
But, well, a lot of people in the chat, too, wanted us to discuss Kalista more, so.
Right. Yeah, I hope you guys liked our Kalista discussion.
I don't even think we talked about Skarner. Skarner got gypped.
Yeah, okay.
We don't need to.
I know, I don't care about Skarner.
He did get gypped.
I'm kidding.
The thing I want to point out here, guys, is hopefully Wednesday. I meant to send an email out today, but humorously enough, my power went out at about 1 o'clock at work. Well, it was actually about 1:45, and I was at work till 3:45 waiting for the power to come back on. So unfortunately, I didn't get work done today before I came home.
Yeah.
But we have a new sponsor coming up, guys. I want to kind of give you a pre-hint to this, those listening at the end, and then we're going to talk about the 5v5 tournament. We have this really awesome soap company that's going to be sponsoring us, and just go check it out, radsoap.com. They sent me a lot of products, and I'm going to give you guys like a whole rundown of it, but it's really cool. Like, I've noticed a change using some of these products these guys have sent out. It's hemp products. Like, you think, like not marijuana, but hemp. Like, their products made out of hemp. There's like body cream made out of hemp and stuff, and like, they sent me one where you can use it for everything. You can use it for your hair, you can use it for teeth, everything. It's really cool. So if you guys have ever been interested in it, just know that we have this awesome promo coming up where you get stuff pretty cheap through us. If you ever
you should send Hornet a soapbox.
Ha! I really should. But I'm excited to bring that up, and the only reason I bring it up now is because I kind of want to give some of you guys a intro to what ad you're going to hear before the podcast. We're going to start running 30-second ads or 45-second ads before the podcast. And as well, I also want to point out that we have more tournaments coming up for the Trinity Force Network. So again, follow us at our Trinity Force Network. The Colossal Carrots won the 5v5 tournament.
Cheated.
Oh, Colossal Carrots. Well done.
They went all the way. Never lost.
They beat Punch's gong hits. There's conspiracy. I demand a rematch.
Who knocked out my empty mana bars?
I don't remember. Mine was out like first round, so or second round technically.
Make a comeback in the next tournament, guys.
But these guys, it was paid to play. It was paid to play. Who was Arrow? He was their mid. Who was it? Was it Lunatic? Lieutenant? I don't remember. Sendek was top. There was Garmin, who was support, and I apologize, who I don't remember. The other two players. Garmu, yeah. But like, for what's really fun about this tournament, really fun when we played it, is that it was like bronze, silver, gold, plat, and then whatever to balance out the ranks. That Garmu playing support showed that you don't need to be platinum to make plays and to carry a team comp, because this dude is bronze, he was Secret Agent Cow. This dude just ran in the back lines and made plays. And he's bronze rank. Like, most people are like, oh, he sucks and terrible. So just kind of throw it out there. Like, if you're playing in a team environment, rank doesn't matter.
Way different. Yep.
Yeah. So congratulations to the Colossal Carrots. You guys won it. When we did play him
afterwards.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, we did play him afterwards and had fun with that. I think next time we do this, if we do the whole play the proper thing, we'll schedule it on another date, because we didn't play till midnight. Granted, we had 50 people watching, and that was a lot of fun, but we didn't play until midnight, which kind of sucks for everybody who played for the number of hours before that.
And sorry I couldn't play, guys. I was trying to get Syndra to go to sleep. My wife was working overnight, so that's why I wasn't there.
And it was midnight, right?
Yeah, it was at midnight. She was probably still awake.
Yeah, other than that, I know it's a little bit, 5 minutes extra after the podcast to talk about this, but like I said, I kind of want to break up the announcements in here. So guys, thank you so much for listening to Trinity Force Podcast. I say it every week. We couldn't be here without you, and we hope you guys enjoy the next sponsor that's coming up. Other than that, we're going to go play some games and enjoy the night. We will see you on Wednesday, hopefully with a full crew. So that's it.
Bye, guys.
Later, guys.
See you in a couple days.
Peace.